My name is Monica. I currently live in Stellenbosch. I would like to tell you something about myself. I come from a small town called Barkly East in the Eastern Cape. Before we moved to town, we used to live on a farm. My grandparents were the only family I was close to. Growing up on a farm, I could only speak isiXhosa, even though we have a colored background and Afrikaans was spoken at home. My grandparents were like my mother and father to me. They took care of me when I was a baby, just 5 months old. I never knew my father and did not have a close relationship with my mother. Unfortunately, my grandfather became ill and died. He was poisoned. My grandmother decided that we needed to move as she no longer felt safe on the farm. I was about 6 years old when we moved to the city. Not knowing anyone in Barkly East, my grandmother had to find a place for us to stay. Luckily, she came across one of the community leaders who gave us a rondel to live in. My grandmother did not have an ID at that time nor a birth certificate. I also did not have a birth certificate. The community leader helped my grandmother obtain her ID so that she could get pension money. It was the only source of income. We had little when we moved to town. It was tough for us, much harder than the life we had on the farm. On the farm we at least had a 2-room house and it was spacious. The rendezvous was only 1 room. Only a single bed, cupboard and a small table could fit in. Our clothes were packed in boxes and we had to get used to it. The community leader managed to get my granny an ID. Not long after she got her pension money. She also managed to get me into a primary school. Life was tough for my grandmother as she was the only breadwinner. She had to do extra jobs just to make sure we ate every day. There were a lot of times when we had nothing and slept without having eaten. It was difficult having to ask people for food. People got tired of us and used to call us hungry dogs. A year of staying in town was already hell, and then my mother decided to leave my sister also. I was very happy because I was alone, and then I had my sister. It was very difficult to make friends as I was seen as this dirty Pitacop farm girl. My grandmother had it hard because she had to look after 2 kids with no support. My mother at that time was just living her own life. My younger sister Tonko also had no birth certificate. At school, kids used to make fun of us, calling us names. We managed to get through it. Barkly East gets very cold during winter and we did not have decent clothes to keep us warm. It snows in Barkly East during winter times. My sister and I only had 1 pair of school shoes each year, which did not last long. We had to go to school with our torn shoes or torn uniforms. I do not blame my grandmother for any of this as she tried her best. At times we had to go barefoot. My grandmother managed to get us a 20-liter can and made a stove out of it. We had no electricity and lived with candlelight, whilst most of the friends we made had electricity in their homes. On the stove my granny made, she cooked and she boiled water for us. We used to go with my grandmother camps where there were cows to pick up cow dung to make the fire for food and hot water. It would approximately take us 1 hour or 45 minutes to go to these camps and back again with the cow dung in bags on our heads.